Welcome back to the Neighbors Podcast. Today is such a special one for me. I got to sit down with someone I look up to so much. His name is Dr. Chanan-Khan. He is, a probably world-renowned oncologist, has done more in the cancer research world than I even could speak about. I think he's respected in probably every medical room he walks in. And he's also had his own journey with cancer. And he is one of the most at peace, content, Jesus-loving people. And even just talking to him, we laugh, we cry. He's been facing death's door for years, and yet he's not afraid of it. And the way that he carries himself and what he pours his time into and how he loves people, how he loves his son, it's just so inspiring. It challenges me. It convicts me. He has achieved so much success by the world standard in the medical field. He's brilliant. We're talking brilliant. And yet he will tell you that the most worthwhile efforts are having a relationship with the Lord and what that looks like every day and what he's learned as he's walked this really tumultuous path of cancer and sickness. And he will make you love Jesus more. And he is what I aspire to be as a Jesus follower. So I can't wait for you to hear this conversation. Get your tissues because we got a little teary there at some points. But here's my conversation with Dr. Asher. All right, Dr. Asher, welcome to the Neighbors Podcast.
Thank you, Ali.
I am so glad that you're here. The first time I ever met you, I don't even know if you remember this, but our church read the entire Bible cover to cover. We were opening a new building, our new worship center. And I love this about our lead pastor. He said the first words he wanted spoken in the church was God's word. Yes. And so there was no commentary. There was no prayer. It was literally just, we started at Genesis 1 and we went through Revelation. I think it ended up taking something like, 72 hours.
Yes.
It was like 3 or 4 days. We pulled all-nighters. It was so fun. And it was mostly staff and pastors reading the Bible. And I remember someone saying, I think it was Pastor Joby texting like, hey, Dr. Asher is going to come and he's going to read some of the Bible. And I'd kind of heard a little bit about you, a little bit about your story. And I thought, wow, that's so cool. And you came in and you were reading Proverbs. I literally won't forget it. You're reading Proverbs and you weren't saying, you were just reading scripture. And I just had this overwhelming feeling like that guy loves the Lord so much. Like it was so evident in just your reverence for the scriptures, the way you read it. I was so inspired by you. We hadn't even had a conversation other than you just being so grateful to have the opportunity to read scripture.
Absolutely.
And that was just my first impression of you was like, wow, this man, he knows the word and he loves the Lord.
Thank you.
It really was so beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yes.
And now that I've gotten to know you a little bit more, other than being a brilliant oncologist, and you probably have so many other scientific titles that I don't even know about, research, all the things. You're a big deal in the oncology medical world, but you're also this beautiful worship leader. Not from the stage, but just the way that you worship in church. You're a dad. You have more friends than pretty much anybody I know. You're always with new friends everywhere you go.
That is so true.
And now you're an esteemed author, which I can't wait to talk about your books. But you've leveraged your whole life to point to God. And I would love to know just where does that come from?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The Lord and I have a very, very special relationship. I've tried to run away from him a lot. He just doesn't let me. No, he doesn't. So I think what's coming to my heart right now, many years ago, I was prompted by a dear friend to write index cards of scriptures and thoughts that God wants me to do or the Holy Spirit directs me. And I put them on the wall all over our home. It's in my bedroom. It's in my closet, everywhere, bathroom, and there's just this, instead of sticky notes, these are index cards with handwritten stuff. And so one of the one that's right next to my bed that I every morning wake up to just says, there are two of them. One says only Jesus, and the other one says, don't waste a single second.
Wow.
And so first thing in the morning, I look at these two cards, and there's nothing else. And I think that has that intentionality, getting up in the morning, looking at, okay, what I have to do. And when I go back lying down, before I switch off the lamp, I look at the same two cards, which says, don't waste a single second. And it gives me the last moments before I go to sleep. It tells me whether that day was worth living. Did I do justice to the time that God gave me?
Wow.
And I think that just became a habit over some time now. And everything that somewhere in my journey, I completely believe now. As I said earlier when I walked in, there's nothing by chance in my life. Everything is intentional. God has intentionally put people in my life. And I didn't realize that. And I now go back years and years and how I came to United States, what happened. And those stories are just amazing because I don't see myself here if I was to design myself my own life.
Wow.
And miracle after miracle. Now that I look back at my life and I see that there are so many intentionality, that God's hand was in every single person that I met, every single decision that I did. And the ones that I was wrong about, He wouldn't let it happen. I butted my head so many times, but it didn't happen. So there are many, many, many things of that. So yes, I love the Lord, and I just hope this season of my life, my biggest prayer is, remember me, Lord. Remember me when you come to your kingdom. Yeah.
What do you feel like all of those experiences, when you look back and you see God's hand in all of it, what is the number one thing that makes you think about God? Like, what does that make you learn about Him, or what have you learned about Him?
Oh, what a wonderful question. I think I have finally reached a point where I believe, feel, sense God's love.
Oh, wow.
For most of my life, I lived in fear of Him. If I don't fast, of course I did tons of wrong things, and it's just normal. So all of those were such heavy burden. And the burden comes from the fact that you know you have a relationship with God, but you're still following your own will. And yes, you can follow your will, but if you are with God, then it becomes a burden because it gnaws on your soul. It hurts you that it's not. So my journey with God has been like that. That I wanted to do things that were pleasing to me, but that didn't leave me without guilt. It always. And so the initial part of my adult life was fraught with so many mistakes and so many things and so many ideas. I love glittery things in life.
Me too.
Yeah. So anything that was attractive, I made every single mistake that one can think about. But in this season of my life, he finally, the journey he brought me to, he never left me. And I think I've not left him either.
Wow.
But this season of my life, he's made me realize how much he loves me.
It reminds me of Paul thinking in his journey that he's doing the right thing, even though he's killing Christians. And so cognitively, he knows the law, but his actions don't reflect that. Mm-hmm. And then he encounters Jesus. And then I always just think about, he says, I have found the secret to being content in all things. And that's something I struggle with. I want that. I want that secret place. And and as you're talking, that just got brought to the forefront. I'm like, that is what is different about you to me. It feels like you have found that secret of being content.
I am.
You've tasted and seen the world. You've done incredible things. It really, and we're going to talk about, all the ways that God has used you. But yet, the way in this season that you carry yourself, the way you worship, it's almost like you could do, if you did nothing else but worshiped God, I think you would be okay.
I will be.
I think
would
you
love
would,
that.
which is so admirable. And that is something I look up to so much.
Yes, I think you're so right that I am at peace with my relationship with the Lord. I'm at peace. I'm so content of what He has made, what works He has used me to do. I'm at peace. Of course, I'm an alpha personality.
Yeah, you still got all these ideas. We were talking about all your business ideas before we recorded.
It's just things, yes.
You can't stop.
I can't stop, but I think the purpose now is very different. So I'm not afraid that I won't complete something. It's not. I think it's after a long detour, I found that it's not about me.
Wow.
When I started my career, if we just talk about, my career, it's how you get to be famous, how you get to do things, what grants you write, what papers you write, what leadership roles you aspire for, and things like that. What can you do? What's the next step up? That the world will know you. And my mentor at NYU, when I was training at NYU for several years, my mentor remembered these things. I don't. So I went to interview with him to be part of his research lab. And he tells me now, we're friends. I mean, it's 30 years now. He tells me that when you came, do you know, Asher, why I recruited you into my lab? I said, no, I don't remember. I remember coming to your one afternoon and interviewing with you. And he says, you said, I want to be famous. You didn't care. So I said, I don't remember it. He says, yeah.
No, couldn't have been me.
Yeah. He said, all you said was, I just want to be famous. And I said, wow. And now I look back and I said that could be me. That was me. And, God gave me anything and everything and far more in my vocation, in my life, in my heart, in my family. Things of life that people lean upon, houses, economics, money, cars, things. All of these things that we all know are going to stay here. He just blessed and blessed and blessed in time. And now I look back and I tell Matthew this often. Don't look in one season of your life. God looks at your entirety. Look at the entirety. In my entire life, the trajectory has always been straight up. And so blessings upon blessings upon blessings. But there were many times that I said, why are you not with me? Why are you not doing this for me? Why can't this happen? So you're right that I have so much lean on him now than I ever did in my life.
Wow. I love that we've prefaced everything that we're about to talk about with this idea of peace and your contentment and your trust in the Lord, because what some people might not know is that you've had your own journey with cancer. You're in your own journey with cancer.
Yes.
And so would you tell us a little bit about not only working in the field of cancer, but then your own journey with it?
Yes. So I joke now that, I have wrestled with cancer so many ways that
all the ways, from fighting in the laboratory with animals and with patients, treating, discovering medicines and so forth, to the point that I was like, okay, I have it now. I'm going to fight it. So it's so funny that I was a young physician who just finished my oncology training, went to Buffalo, my first faculty appointment. I'm assistant professor. I'm supposed to be an expert in this blood cancer. And I started seeing patients while doing my research. And, I was very enthusiastic. And I still am with my patients. And you have a dialogue. The cancer that I focused on was a terminal cancer. Everybody died in less than 2 years. So this is the people who are coming to me. I have to tell them that they will die in 2 years. Okay, and these are the treatments I would do, but it'll buy them this much time. And so how do you become enthusiastic and optimistic and smile and vibrant, telling somebody, hey, listen, this is the end of the road for you. Right.
So I had all these, I had always had faith in my, weaved into my conversations. A lot of it was conversations with patients, walking them through what will happen. I used to I came down to this narrative that I would tell people, my patients. I would say, cancer is a blessing. I would tell them. I said, cancer is a blessing. Because even though you can see that the time is limited, you have the time. You can love upon people. You can call off all the feuds that you had. You can make up with people. You can plan things for your family. You can taste the foods that you love. God has chosen you now to tell you, okay, these last 2 years of your life are yours to enjoy the maximum. A lot of people got it, but that didn't take their sadness away. So I used to tell them, hey, cancer is a blessing versus you go out in a car accident or you have a heart attack or something like that. You have a stroke and you're gone and things like that. And trying to make a point that, we can't do anything about what's happened to you, but let's make the best out of it. Until I got cancer. And the first time I got it was just a little over a year after we got married.
Okay.
Sunita and I got married. Love her. I was head over heels in love with her. I still am. That hasn't changed. And this happened to us. And in that moment, I sat down and said, And the doctor did tell me that 2 years is around the time. The same speech I heard back.
Wow.
The doctor said, it's invaded into your heart. It's incurable. It's very rare. It's the size of almost a soccer ball inside my chest. Yeah, it was horrendous, and he underwent a huge surgery. And right after surgery, they said, people typically 90+% of the patients with this kind of cancer die in 2 years, and that's what you have. I didn't want to have children then because what's the point? Mm-hmm. So it was an interesting time. Wasn't afraid, but at some place felt a little cheated. That, I just finished my fellowship. I just finished everything. Just bought a home. Just got married. What's this? Sunita was wonderful. Took care of me. Built me up. Faith. There were so many people around who brought faith into my life. And that's what was a growth time. And 2 years came by and then went. Nothing happened. The shoe didn't drop. And slowly, life became normal. And I didn't have a recurrence for 15 years. And that hasn't, nobody like me exists in this particular cancer category. That doesn't happen. You don't have that kind. So through that journey of cancer diagnosis and side effects and treatments and hurts and pains, you learn a lot. But this time, 15 years later, almost 15 years later, when the cancer came back, it had spread all over. But this time and the doctor came and told me, it was a sigh of relief. It's like, okay. I think I've done enough here. Wow. And it was a very solemn, almost, I don't know how to say it. It's not joy, but it felt nice that I'm going back home. That it's time to see the Lord. And that it's my journey's here is coming to an end. And it felt good. It didn't felt scary. It didn't felt sad. It didn't feel... In the book I wrote, Tapestry, it says that I'm ready, Lord. I'm fine. I'm good. The only thing that was a little bit was Matthew was 11 years old when I got diagnosed this time. And it was hard to... I love him so much. The first 8 months was a struggle to come to terms that God's going to take control of him and I'm okay. Yeah. So this is interesting. 2 years before this time I got diagnosed, I write diaries, and every now and then I'll get a dream or something, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll just write what I saw in my dream and go back to sleep. And I've done that for some time, for some years now. 2 years before I got diagnosed, I had a journal entry that I did not know until last fall. I was writing again. And I said, what is this that I wrote 2 years ago? And I had written exactly what was happening with me. Word to word, that I am being told. The heading of that entry was 2 years left. And I write that I am being told in my dream that I have 2 years left. It's time to wrap up. And cancer has come back. It's all over. And I write in that also that I'm happy, but I'm sad for Matthew. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing was written and then written again 3 months later. And it's timed and it's dated 3 a.m. in the morning. And I never knew that. So there's certainly I am convinced. It's not just belief. It's like evidence now given to me by the Lord that I'm walking with you. I'm telling you. Okay. And I read this a while ago, Oswald Chambers. All I remember from that passage that I read, he writes that at the last day of my life, I want to be completely spent. Like you have run a full marathon and you cannot run one more step. That's it. This is it. This is the finish line. I cannot. And that's what I want to feel.
Wow.
I really want to feel that day I close my eyes, I'm like, oh yes. Yes, it's done. I have run a long marathon.
Well, it is hard, especially in the comfort of the culture that we live in America. We are so afraid of dying. And as Christians, I mean, it says in the Bible, to die is gain.
Yeah.
And you are, and we have this fear around dying. But you are such a beautiful picture of what it looks like to die well. And to know that you're going to spend you're going to wake up every day chasing after the Lord, giving it up to Him, spending time with your son. But there's that overwhelming sense of, but I'm also going to go home, and I'm okay with that when the Lord decides it's going to happen. Which is so beautiful. But now you've outlived even the 2 years this time.
Yes.
This now it's been 4 years, you said?
Yes, it's almost 4 years. The doctor said it's about a year or so.
What is happening? You're like,
I have no idea. I was like, when I met with the physician, he says it's all over. It's from my spine to the bottom.
Still, right now?
Yes, right now. No, I have not gone into remission. If you look at my scans, they're like full of cancer inside me. And there's huge one sitting in my heart, and it's right in the center, and it's all over sitting on top of my heart. And when it hurts, it's horrendous.
I'm sure.
But then like last whole 2 weeks, I haven't taken a Tylenol.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking. I mean, my doctor says I have not seen anybody who has this much cancer all over in his bones and not taking a narcotic. And if you were to see me 3 weeks ago in church, I was actually squirting morphine in while sitting in the church. It was so bad. And then the next afternoon, nothing. And then nothing.
That's right. Yes, a few weeks ago, you couldn't even walk to the altar. You had a cane, and Matthew was helping you get to the altar.
He was holding me, yes.
And then the next week, I saw you're just prancing up to the altar. I'm like, what is happening?
I have no idea. It's like so funny.
Wow.
It is like, it's such a, and I smile with the Lord. I smile with Him because I think He smiles with me. It's okay. It's okay. You got this. And it's allowed me to say many things in my book. In the book that I wrote called Lazarus and Me, the message is primarily that once you're told that you are going, how should you live? How should you?
How do you die well? I mean,
how did Lazarus live after he's like, oh wow, I'm gonna die now. I've seen what death is like. How do you live?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And I have become so intentional about my time with people. And you're right. I have friends that are 80 years old, and I call them friends.
You have so many friends.
Yeah.
Every time you're at the altar, here comes a new group of 3 people to pray for you. I'm like, oh, there are his new friends. I mean, it's the community around you. I mean, who can't love you? I mean, it's impossible not to. It's you exude Jesus everywhere that you go. Does your mindset change on good days versus bad days? Like when you wake up or when you're up all night, because I know when you're in pain, you're up typically all night.
Yeah.
We're supposed to record this, what was that, a month ago?
Yes.
And you couldn't. You had slept all night or had been awake all night in pain. And here you are, like you're just about to conquer the world, telling us all about all your endeavors you're going after in the next couple weeks. But when you wake up or when it's a bad day and you're in a lot of pain, what is your mindset? And then what's your mindset on a good day?
Yes. When the pain is excruciating, and when it's excruciating, it is like, I've never felt this. And this is a great learning experience as a clinician for me, because, I have prescribed these medicines, pain medicines. I have patients who had disease, cancer in their bones. And in fact, the one I treat, multiple myeloma, that I'm an expert in, is all about in the bones. It's in the marrow. Very painful. But I never knew how how much pain can it happen. And so, interestingly, pain, there are many different seasons of pains, different kinds. And this is also fascinating. I enjoy what's happening right now because God shows me different things. And so, okay. So one season was that it would be so bad that I would say, Matthew, we're laughing. I mean, I am crying out of pain, and it's like 12 out of 10. It's like outrageous. And I'm squirting morphine, and says, Matthew, can you play guitar and sing? And he would sing, different hymns from the church, and he would be scared, and I didn't want him to be scared. I said, but I'm gonna sing with you, I'm gonna sing the hymns with you. And then we would joke. I said, my voice is only bad because I'm in pain. Otherwise, it sings really well. And he says, no, I don't think so. And we will laugh. And this is in the midst of like horrendous pain. And he will play piano. He'll play guitar. And it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, midnight.
Wow. And
we just are going. And there was a season that's what I would do. And there will be friends, very close friends around me who would, there will be time that I would just need, the medicine wouldn't work, and there would be heating pads that I need to put, and they would just microwave things and stuff my legs and my back on it. Lots of wonderful friends around me. It's just amazing. And wouldn't identify them, but they're just all around. And it's every season God had put somebody in my life that I was never alone. And then there was a season that I am not an artist. I don't paint. But when I'm in excruciating pain, I paint. And I'll show you paintings. And I tried one day to paint without
when you being in pain?
No. Oh, horrible. Oh my gosh. Wow. I hated my paintings. And I don't know what I paint. When I would just sit and I'm shaking, and I just start with paint, and I had no idea what I'm going to paint.
Fascinating.
And I'll show you those pictures, and you say, "Whoa,
they're not bad.
They're not bad." And so every now and then, I painted a lot now, but because of and so for the last several months, I was trying to paint for somebody, and I haven't had an episode. And they said, well, where's my painting? I said,
sorry, I got to wait for the paint.
I have to wait for the paint to come, because if I do it right now, it will be horrible.
Oh, my God.
And it is just so fascinating how God gives you such certain things. But I'll share this, I think, for people who may be going through this journey. Every time I have gone on my knee during pain, and I've asked 5 seconds prayer, Lord, help me bear this, He would. I would fall asleep. I would just be given enough endurance to bear it. And it would be fine. And then I will be like that. I think there are very few episodes where I couldn't understand why He's not helping me. That it was so bad that I said, I can't take it anymore. And it was several days that I hadn't slept, several days of narcotics. And this happened 3 weeks ago. When you saw me, Matthew, holding that night in church, I was bad. That was at the end of about a week of no sleep because of pain. And continuous narcotics every 3 hours. And the last dose I took was in the church. And Matthew and another friend of mine, Jonathan, was holding me. I remember I couldn't stand, but I wanted to be at the altar because I wanted him to see me. It's hurting. And that evening, we had tickets. Sunday evening, we had tickets to Need to Breathe in.
Yeah,
yes.
I went.
You did? You were there? We were there too.
Oh, you went?
Yes,
you were able to go?
Yes. So Matthew and I had these VIP tickets because he loves that group.
Same.
So, oh my gosh. And Judah and the Lion? Amazing. So he had asked for it. This is his number one group, and we booked the tickets. And he saw me how bad I was in church. So he came home and he said, Baba, why don't we just let go? You just rest. And the thing was that I was coming down with infection. I didn't know at that moment, but I was coming then. Afterwards, I was admitted to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
So I said, Matthew, you know what? I know I'm horrible right now. I'm like, I don't know what, but if we don't go, we'll miss it. Let's go and see how much I tolerate it. And if I do, we'll stay. If not, we can always come back.
Right.
The fun is that Matthew can drive, so I didn't have to drive.
That is fun.
That is fun. Now, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
So in this humongous truck, we go. And I'm hurting. My last dose was at church. So we go to the concert. Not a single minute of pain.
Wow.
And from that day to today, I haven't had any pain.
You still had the infection.
I did get infected. I did get admitted to, and it was really bad infection.
Wow. But you weren't in pain?
No.
Why is it so important for you to get to the altar?
Oh.
And let's set it up. Because we do have some people who don't attend our church. And at our church, we have these prayer altars at the bottom of the stage. And every service, at the end of the sermon, the pastor calls everyone forward. We call it our response time. And basically, our whole service is leading up to the response time. It's all about hearing the good news, whatever it is that week. And then we go and we respond. We sing, we come to the altar, we pray. We are responding back to God, thanking him for what he's done. And so a lot of times people will come forward to the prayer altars and kneel or pray, sing, all of that. And there isn't really, I don't know that I've ever been in a service with you that you haven't gone to the altar. And I said it before, but 3 weeks ago, I mean, you could not walk to the altar by yourself. And you still, you had to go. So what is it? Why do you have to go?
So this is very personal. One is an act of obedience. I'm here. I want, in my heart, when I go to the altar, I want him to see me. I feel I'm the second thief on the cross who's trying to remind the Lord to remember me. Every service when I go there, that's what I ask him. Please remember me. When I knock on the door in heaven and want to come in, just remember me. And I can't wait the whole week to go Thursday night or Sunday sometimes to go to the altar. I mean, sometimes I'm thinking, Joby, come on, let's get it over with. I got the message. I got it. Let's go. Yeah. Yes. And I want to be there. I want to be, in this season of my life, I want to be the Mary, not the Martha. I want to be in his feet. So his focus, his vision is directly on me.
It's so beautiful. I mean, it's so pure, and it's for everybody. I mean, I guess there's a bit of a clarity about kind of feeling like death is closer. Because, I mean, who knows? I mean, I could die today.
Yes.
I could die before you, but I don't feel like, and there's a clarity about it that I guess brings you to a place of just nothing else matters but being in his presence.
Yes. Yes. So I don't ask people, I don't know what people may think what I'm there, or Matthew or others. I don't ask for anything. I just want him to see me.
Gosh, that's so beautiful.
I think he knows it better for me. Me asking certain things doesn't matter anymore. I'm ready every single day now.
But he keeps giving you days.
I know. That's what I find.
Wow. Okay, so whether you have 2 years to live or you have 65 years to live, there really isn't, we should be living the same way. And like I said, I think there's just a clarity about if you have a time on it. But this is for anybody. This isn't just people with cancer diagnosis. Like, this is, all of us are dying, whether we have 2 years or 60. And so what could you offer the person who maybe doesn't have a terminal diagnosis, but just as a reminder or an encouragement for how we live that kind of life, always thinking with God in mind? Like, how do we do that?
What a wonderful question. So I'm tackling this question in a book that I'm writing right now. That what I'm sensing right now, I'm alive, I'm happy, I'm functional, I'm doing things, I'm eating, I meet with friends. It's like God has given me a paid vacation.
Wow.
Do what you want, wherever you want to go, it's your schedule, enjoy life. Really enjoy. I've never enjoyed life as much I have enjoyed in these last 4. Every moment I've enjoyed it. Every single moment, from food to friends to family to love to church to books to writing to sleeping,
painting,
to painting to Netflix. Everything I've enjoyed it. I mean, my schedule is so full with people visiting.
Wow.
I make sure that there's my time and there's this time that I spend with people that I want to spend with. And I've met so many strangers and they've become friends. I don't let a moment go by when I'm with somebody that I want to know about them. I want to know about them. Who are they? Why are they? From a waiter in this restaurant to somebody that I sat next to a table in a bistro and had lunch with. Anyway, so it's been just phenomenal journey. And so this is exactly what you asked is what I'm tackling. That the news of my death or impending death,
it's not new.
It's not news.
That's right.
It's been told to me for all through my life. I have known it. And I've tried to correlate this in this book chapter. I'm trying to figure out what is the message? I don't know. Like when Jesus was born and when Jesus was a teenager and then when Jesus was a young adult in his 20s and when he started his ministry and he started saying, well, my time is going to come. It's not yet there. You'll see the Son of Man. He knew all the time. He knew why he came. He came to die a horrible death on the cross. So then how did he live all those years? Did he not go to weddings and parties? Did he not dine, wine and things with his friends? Did he not go out and preach and made these disciples his friends, his brothers? He did all of that stuff. yet he knew he was dying.
Wow.
And this is also what I'm trying to write now, that when it just became evident that night, that last one day was left, that's when we see him in different moods.
Yeah, like grieving almost.
He starts with celebration.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the disciples were singing and they were eating the Passover dinner, and he's serving. He's intentionally there with everyone that he wanted to be there. And he's loving on them. He's washing their feet. He's giving them food. He's telling them things. So he starts with celebration. And then there's elements in the Garden of Gethsemane where he feels lonely, so he takes a few with them. He's also apprehensive. He's irritable. He comes back and says, "Why are you guys sleeping?" He's irritable. And I see that in me. I see that in me also. And then he's submissive also. He's also wanting, maybe it shouldn't happen. And I see that in me too. There's times my heart doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
And I want to stay a little longer. Whether I ask or not, most of the time I've not asked. But not asking doesn't mean that the Lord doesn't know what my heart is thinking or wanting. So in this season, I'm so much trying to see what Jesus did in the last day. So I can follow that. And I can forgive myself if I'm irritable or angry, because I can see that the Lord provided me with, it happens. It is part of what we are supposed to go through. Yeah. But in the end, I have to remind myself that His will be done, not mine. And that His provisions will be made, how the last mile would be. I've walked the last hour with countless people. I've sat with people who were dying, literally in front of me and my patients. And so, my mind wants to go there, how it will end, but I help myself by saying, God's got that. He's got that. It will be the right way, the right moment, and so forth.
Wow. Well, I'm just so sad we're out of time, because I could talk to you forever, but I want to talk about your books really quick.
Yes.
You've written like 3 books in a year or something, 4 books.
Yes.
Tell us about your books and where people can find them.
Yes. So all these books are available on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble, Christian books, and so forth. The first 2 books are Lazarus and Me and Tapestry. They talk about my journey, how I felt, what I see God working in my life. The second 2 books, the 2 other books that are coming, are my effort to reach to the people I love so much, but those who follow the Islamic faith.
Oh, wow.
My part of my family follows Islam. They are Muslim. Most of my friends are Muslim. I grew up in a Muslim country. My family is a convert from Islam to Christianity. I had my graduate degree, my subject was Islamic studies. Oh. So I studied that. I lived in Islamic culture, and I have practiced many things about Islam in my own life as part of blending, taking things here, and that my theology, my initial life theology, was a mixture of Christianity and Islam. So in these 2 books, it's hard to go to your cousin, or it's hard to go to your best friend in the world and try to evangelize. I found myself that I somehow was inadequate, and that I valued our friendship and relationship so much that I was not a good steward of giving them the good news. So this is my effort to share the good news with that community, and allowing them to see what Quran says about Jesus and what Jesus is in the Bible, and what I've learned through my journey reading both the text and why I follow one text. Yeah. So
Very
those
cool.
2 books are about that.
Okay. Well, we're very excited, and I can't wait to read them. And how do I get on the list to get a painting?
Okay.
Can you add me to the list?
Yeah.
I don't wish pain.
Yeah, but
I want you to stay in this state forever, but I kind of want to be on this list.
Okay, I will do that.
We'll put it in our studio here.
Yes. And one thing is that all the proceedings from these books, all the financial stuff that comes in, are directly donated. They don't come to me. They go to an organization, a charity that supports education and liberation of bonded slaves children. So there are children, bonded slave children in third world countries. This organization is called Global Open Health Global, and all of the proceedings from that go to them, and they work in children who are under bonded slave, and then educate them and give them an opportunity to not be slaves.
Wow, very cool. Well, I'll definitely link the books in our show notes so people can get that. But Dr. Osher, thank you so much for being here. You are, truly what I aspire to be in my relationship with the Lord, and I think everyone will agree with that after hearing this conversation. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ali, for having me.
Neighbors is produced by Logger Creative and Taylor Minning. Music by Austin and Lindsay Adamak. Artwork by Wesley Parsons. And motion graphics by Robbie Burns.
Living to love like, living to love like you have loved me. You show me brighter days, new mercies every morning. You never shine.